Hello everyone, this is the history of the UK Fruitfest. This is me, Ronnie. I started the festival in about 2013, I think, and we've ran the festival since every year since 2014. So we're at our 11th event coming up this year, 26th of July to the 2nd of August, a full week long raw vegan festival retreat community experience for a full 8 days. So you're welcome to. I'll put a link below for more information. Anyway, what's the sort of basic history of the event? Well, I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival in 2012, started to explore this diet in 2011, started to experimenting with it slowly, started to think about it, and gradually got more and more into it and more interested, and was on and off practicing the diet, trying to do it. And a lot of the people I was following were going to be going to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. So I saw that as an ideal opportunity to learn more. And I was quite apprehensive about going. I'd never really traveled on my own outside of the country. I would have been 2013, 28 years old, 28, 29 years old, something like that. Is that what age it was? Probably. Um, no, 2012, 27, 28 years old. Yeah, 27 years old. So I was, I'd never really traveled on my own, I don't think. And, you know, I wasn't really sure to go or not. It looked amazing. I connected, when I saw the videos of the event, I really connected with it. I really just saw it and went, this is beautiful. I still love those videos of the first Woodstock Festival. For years, I mean, still really, I would watch them and get inspired, and I've showed them to other people, and they get inspired and they want to go. Um, so it's been a beautiful thing that they created, and kind of getting emotional right now just thinking about it. So I saw all that, but I still wasn't sure. Am I going to go? Am I going to go? Am I going to go? And I mean, this is a kind of a weird story, but I was sitting at a bus stop thinking about it, and a lorry went past that said Woodstock in big letters on the side. And that was kind of the last straw of me going, right, okay, I'm going to. So I went on to book my ticket. I actually missed the deadline, and they sent an email back saying you've got to pay more. So I ended up paying more for my ticket. Um, and, flew over there. I was working a full time job at the HMRC, like a call center job. So I had some money saved up, and only could really take off the week. Couldn't take off any longer. Actually, slightly. I think I had to leave early in the last day or slightly early, and flew out over there. Had kind of met some people in the forum beforehand. There's a lot of stories that I won't go into too much in this video, but a lot of really nice things happened and cool things, and got on the bus from Manhattan and got all the way up there, and just immediately started to have a good time. Really started to meet some really great people. It was a really like easy experience of my life, where a lot of my life has been quite difficult socializing and mixing with other people, and it didn't feel very like-minded with a lot of people around me from where I come from. And this was a place where I was just immediately felt like I was meeting these great people and having these great conversations. And we'd all had this shared experience, watching the same videos, watching some of the same influencers. At that time, Durian Rider was a very influential person. There was Doug Graham's information, which was very influential for a lot of people at the time. There was Freely, there was Christina, there was Dan the Man, and Freely wasn't at that event, but the rest of them were all there. It was quite amazing this gathering, and you know, others. John Kohler was there, and Don Bennett, and Ellen Livingston, Karen Ramsey, Dr. Sam, Robert Lockhart. Um, a lot of names that probably some of you don't know, but you know, fairly significant figures in terms of in the raw vegan circles. And Tony Wright, I think, was speaking that year. Like, it was just a big gathering of a lot of people. Michael Arnstein was much more active back then. And Woodstock at the Camp Malden is just like some of the best times of my life, quite frankly. Um, they're not using that venue anymore, and it was still good this year. But um, that venue, those people, those memories, just amazing. Just such an amazing part of my life. Just such a really glad that I got to go to that and be part of that. And I knew I found something great, and I went back every single year. And I don't know, I just think a lot of people don't do that. There's a lot of simple things in life I think are funny, like you find something great, keep a hold of it. And very few people do that in life. Very, very few people. And I think it's just part of the human mind, part of our frailties. We think there's something better out there, I got to go and find something else, try something else. When you find something really special and precious and amazing in life, you really want to keep a hold of it. And, that's not what a lot of people do. But Woodstock, I realised this is really a special thing. I loved meeting the people. It was a chance for me to bring another part of myself out, I think. Just have fun, and I love learning. I got a chance to learn from so many people and go to talks and lectures and have great discussions and meet these people that were sort of hero figures, and it was great. It was really a transformational experience. I loved it. I went back every year, and when I came home from that, the first one, I don't know straight away, but I think I wanted to try and get people together, so I created like a little bit of a meetup group. I did feel like the passion from Michael Arnstein and others, the idea of, you know, kind of wanting to share this with the world a little bit. Started a YouTube channel, but it was really more to just keep in touch with the other people that I'd met and share with them what I was doing. It wasn't really, I want to get this number of followers and make this amount of money. And I never set that as a goal or a target. And, you know, ended up going to a whole number of different festivals the next year. 2013, I went to 5 different events. And I went to Spain, Denmark, Slovenia. I went to an event in Thailand, and I went back to Woodstock. And I was just loving it all. I was just loving the events, the information I was getting, how the diet was making me feel, the transformation I was going through. I was just in love with the whole experience, really, and having so much pleasure and joy at these events. Just the simple, just being at these events, the energy of it, the people, it was so pure and special, and I don't know, magic. And gradually, I wanted to maybe do something. So I was doing little meetup groups in Glasgow, just meeting, bringing a few people together and just eating fruit, very simple. And there was people that I'd met who were a bit of a network of people who had met I'd shared a room at the first Woodstock with a bunch of people that were from the UK and other countries in Europe. And we all stayed communicating, and we arranged a meetup in the UK. I didn't arrange it, but someone else arranged it, and I went along. And then in the next year, that group was still fairly active, but um, that the organizer had kind of wasn't active, so it was like, who's going to organize a get together? So I ended up stepping up to do it, and I'd never done that, and wasn't really my thing. I ended up doing it, and we did a little camping style event. And I was just inspired at that time. We can do a festival. We can do something bigger. And I had this passion to do something bigger. I had this feeling inside me to do something bigger. And I wanted to honor that. And I also felt like I'd never really done something big in my life, and I wanted to do something. So that was the genesis, the birth of the festival. At that camping event, I asked the others if they would like to do a festival, and they were up for it. And we went forward from there, and we tried to find a venue, and we found venues and visited venues, and took it pretty seriously. Did it all while doing a full time job, and didn't make any money doing it. Didn't pay myself anything doing it, and which is the same really for a lot of the festival. Is it's not been. It was just a project. Try and do something, and that's really the history of the festival, how it got started, and none of the people who were originally involved are involved anymore. Not because I don't want them involved. Some of them have moved away. Some of them just kind of fell out over various reasons with me or with the event in some ways. Although mostly that happened before the event ever happened. People fell out with me already. So that kind of stuff happened. And yeah, but I've been able to keep it going, and that's a bit of a characteristic I tend to have, is just to keep stuff going, and maybe that's not a good idea always. But the event started with about 45 people. It was 60 in total. It was 60 in total, but that was some people coming for just a few days and stuff, and um, but it was really good. People really enjoyed it, had a great time, had a good experience. I left at the end of the event. I was kind of left feeling a bit empty in some ways, uh, but I'd been successful with it. It's a funny thing, like you can succeed at something, and it was very difficult to push forward and do that event, push past lots of boundaries for myself personally. It was very difficult experience, a very big challenge, but I managed to do it and succeeded at it, and people had a great time. Um, I guess it hadn't been what I'd hoped it would be. And I think that's maybe a bad part of myself, is that I always, even last night, I ran an open night for my Aikido class, and 8 people came along, which is actually quite a success. But the part of me couldn't help but feel like it was a bit of a failure, and it wasn't. But I just think of what it could have been or whatever, which is a bit of a negative part of myself. But I guess that's the feeling I had at the end of it. Like, we could have had more people here. We could have this, could have that. Um, and I honestly didn't know if I would ever do it again. And for the first 2 or 3 years, I didn't really know if I was going to do it again. Um, but kept having just about enough motivation to do it. And then I kind of got to the point where I was like, I want to take this seriously and really commit to it and really see what would happen if we really try and work on it. And so I've tried to do that over the last while, and then COVID happened, and stuff happened, and made it very challenging. But it still lasted, and I don't know the future. I'm really trying to get a plan together of what's the future for this. Where is this going? I really want to plan that and get a proper plan together, so I know what I'm doing, and what the festival's doing. So but that's where we're at anyway, and that's really the history of the festival. And the reason it's really stayed going is because we had a lot of good feedback. A lot of people have really enjoyed it, loved it, and keep coming back. So that's why it's the main reason it's kept going. If you're interested in coming, you can click on the link below and get more information about the event. So thank you very much.